How can we start to leverage more digital tools that we've learned customers love during the lockdown period, and how can we leverage those within a retail sort of physical store environment, and then vice versa? How can we feed information back from the store and understand the role which the digital channels play on in the purchase journey, basically?
Welcome to another Tent interview, CheckoutScout. Today I've got Graham Wilson, Head of Business Development at Sofology. Welcome, Graham. So Graham, how did you get to your current role?
So I joined Sofology in January last year. An interesting time to move jobs and kind of join just before a pandemic. But prior to that, I was at AO.com for 7 years, where I was head of delivery, and I was responsible for sort of group-wide projects with a sort of an IT slant. Did a variety of roles there, so worked on a number of different things, whether it was like new category launches or the new territories that they rolled into. So yeah, I was there while they undertook a serious amount of growth, and obviously they've kicked on again over the last 12 months. But yeah, I joined Sofology to sort of push myself and kind of try something a little bit new, and yeah, I'm loving it. It's been an eventful 12 to 18 months, but it's one of those that we're really, really proud of what we've achieved.
And can you just give a quick elevator pitch as to what Sofology do? I mean, people could probably guess from the name, but just in case they don't.
Yeah, so we're one of the UK's leading sofa retailers. So we are part of the DFS group. We have, I think, about 48 or so stores. We keep opening new stores every week. We opened our latest one in Swindon last week. And we're different to the rest of the sofa industry. So if you look at like a DFS or an SCS or Furniture Village, where they're really kind of heavy on sort of sales and discounts and things like that, we really believe that our sofas are good value, and we sort of back ourselves on that. So we don't do discounting, we don't do sales, and we really kind of push forward on our kind of core values. So, you know, product foremost in terms of we're a product business. We want to find the right sofa for every customer that comes through the door. And if that means that, you know, they come in with one idea and we explain to them why that might not be the right sofa, and if they decide to walk away, that's fine. We would rather them leave with the right sofa because they're going to have it for 7 years.
When you came into the business, what were the biggest challenges you faced, and how did you overcome them?
I guess the overarching goal was to bridge online and offline and ensure that we have the same customer experience, irrespective of the channel that you kind of choose to shop with. And that obviously touches both inbound telesales and the website. And then I work really closely with retail to try and, I guess, bridge the gap between the two and ensure the customer experience is awesome.
Is that your sort of main challenge at the moment, or have you got a sort of specific project or thing you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, no, definitely. So, I mean, look, we're like all sort of retailers that have got a web presence. We've experienced some really, really strong performance over the last 12 months, which obviously has been really positive and shows the potential of what we've got. But now, obviously, stores are now reopened for the last few weeks. It's definitely how can we start to leverage more digital tools that we've learned customers love during the lockdown period, and how can we leverage those within a retail sort of physical store environment, and then vice versa. How can we feed information back from the store and understand the role which the digital channels play on in the purchase journey, basically.
What are the biggest challenges that you would have said that you're facing over the next year or two in terms of what you've been working on, blending on online and offline?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely to continue the evolution of technology within the sort of the physical space. And then I think the second side to it is then how we get the data and the insight that we learn from within the store and feed that back into the kind of the online journey at the when the customer either comes back to the site, or when a new customer that might be of similar kind of characteristics hits the site in the first instance. I think we've been really fortunate that before lockdown we utilized a video call tool which allowed customers via Go in Store, which allowed customers to basically connect to a Sofologist in store, which we know as a business means that if people talk to people, they're more likely to buy, they're more likely to ask the questions that we don't necessarily have the answers on the web to, and therefore the propensity of things like higher AOV and higher conversion and all that good stuff comes to life. And I think, we were lucky that we had that before the first lockdown, and we've just seen it kind of grow. I think what's key for me in the future is that that kind of technology is no longer kind of like isolated to a specific kind of, I guess, tech savvy audience, then it's almost normalized across the entire e-com space.
Speaking of technology, are there any sort of apps or tech or software that you've been using in the past year or two that's kind of really impressed you the most?
We work with a company called Exponia, who are a customer data platform, and for us, they're a key part of our kind of journey. So they really allow us to kind of take all the data from the various different channels and touch points. So whether that's in store or whether that's online or whether it's appointment data or however else, what other information we have. And it allows us to kind of almost create that customer view. So we can then do things like when we roll out like appointments, we can understand the conversion and we can understand the journey that customer has been on to get to that booking of an appointment. And I think, from an Exponia point of view, it's really become a kind of a key part and a key focus of ours internally to help us kind of understand what our customers are doing. And I think, if you can understand what your customers are doing, you can figure out which bits are working, you can figure out which bits are not, and you can also you can optimize and make the whole experience a lot better.
In terms of other e-commerce type companies out there, is there any that you'd have loved to have owned or started when you kind of look at and sort of say, oh, what are those guys doing? You think, actually, oh man, I wish I'd done that.
I think in terms of other people, AO, I worked for them for 7 years, but I would say the team over at AO have done a fantastic job over the last 12 months as well. They're continually kind of pushing the boundaries.
What is the funniest incident that you've ever had with a customer?
What is the funniest incident I've ever had with a customer?
Repeat.
So I guess when I was at AO, we just launched into Germany, and the German market is a little bit different to the UK market. They're not as tech savvy, or they weren't back then, and they weren't as kind of they were very much, they would walk to their local corner shop or corner store to sort of buy their products. And I always remember the story of in our head office that we'd opened, and bear in mind we basically took what we did in the UK and rolled it out into Germany. All of a sudden we got like people knocking on the door of the head office because they were expecting to be able to walk into our head office and buy the white goods and everything that they were seeing online. And I always remember this old couple that kind of turned up, and they were very, very sweet. And they, we managed to sort them out. We brought them into the contact center. We sat them down next to the AOer and kind of taught them through the website and taught them through the product. But it was almost like they expected to walk in and walk out that day with their washing machine, and that wasn't necessarily how it works. But I guess it was kind of one of those stories that just kind of warms your heart a little bit.
And my final point is you've got Helena Bonham Carter in your recent adverts. Basically, have you met her, and is she as cool in real life as one would hope?
So I've not met her, unfortunately. I wasn't invited down to the TV advert shoot. In terms of if she is kind of funny, yeah. The feedback that I've had on Helena is that exactly what you see. She's very quirky. She's very clear on her kind of style and kind of how she likes to kind of come across. I understand they had to kind of ensure that she was kind of on costume, so to speak, because she was very keen to kind of add her own touch to it. But no, she's a great fit for us as a brand. She portrays everything that we're kind of all about in terms of, bringing that little bit of imagination to your kind of room and using it to kind of inspire the way you sort of dress and you make the room look. And we're hugely excited and privileged to be working with her. So yeah, it's all really,
it's a very
good.
cool advert. So I recommend everyone check it out.
Thank you.
But yeah, for now, thank you very much, Graham, for coming on the CheckoutScout Tent interview.
No problem. Thank you very much.